Hello and welcome back to Cinema Rules, and in this video we ask the question, did you know? Whilst we explore the media of films and detail things that you may not have known about your favourite movies. In this episode we explore the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Now before we begin, just a heads up, one of these facts is actually untrue. Comment down below if you know which one is in fact a lie.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Now let's get started. Did you know that in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, the original design of the Green Goblin was closer to his appearance in the comics and was made up with prosthetics, complete with green skin, a pointed chin and ears, fangs, and yellow pupilless eyes. After a series of screen tests, however, the design was scrapped, being deemed too disturbing for the film that wanted to be just as accessible to kids as it was for adults.
But you can't do this to me.
Did you know that Willem Dafoe wears dental prosthetics for most of the movie as Norman Osborn, but his reflection as the Goblin persona retains Dafoe's natural, less perfect teeth? Did you know the scene which sees Peter Parker jumping into action and not only catching Mary Jane and everything she had on her lunch tray was actually done practically? No CGI was involved, and Tobey Maguire actually caught everything on the tray. Kirsten Dunst revealed that the effects department put some type of glue on Maguire's hand, and the head of the VFX team said that it took 156 takes to complete.
Wow, great reflexes.
Did you know Heath Ledger was the first choice for Peter Parker? Heath ultimately declined the role, stating that he would be taking someone else's dream away. Not only this, but after concerns of Tobey Maguire not coming back for the sequel, studios looked to Jake Gyllenhaal to play Spider-Man. This decision was ultimately scrapped after Tobey Maguire received a healthy pay rise.
But could you pay me in advance?
Jake Gyllenhaal would then go on to play one of Spider-Man's most notorious villains, Mysterio, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
See, that wasn't so hard.
Somebody get this stupid costume off me!
Did you know the glimpse of Peter's torso before he awakens as the enhanced superhero was not Tobey Maguire's body? Maguire had spent months bulking up his own frame, so a skinny version was used with his head transposed on top of it.
Any better this morning? Any change?
Change? Yeah. Big change.
Did you know Hugh Jackman revealed that he was supposed to have a brief cameo as Wolverine? Jackman actually showed up in New York to film the scene, but the entire plan was scrapped when the crew couldn't get access to the Wolverine costume from X-Men. How mad would that have been?
Hey, ugly! You want to take a bite out of someone? Try me.
Did you know Sam Raimi's car, the 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88, also known as the Classic, which features in every single Sam Raimi movie, including the first ever Evil Dead movie, appears in the movie as Uncle Ben's car?
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Did you know Spider-Man 1 was the first film to gross $100 million in its opening weekend alone? At the time, no movie had done so, even when adjusted for inflation.
What about my generous proposal? Are you in or are you out? It's you who's out, Gobby.
Did you know Dr. Octopus was in an early draft of the script to appear as a second bad guy? Later on in pre-production, it was decided that he would be reassigned to Spider-Man 2.
I will not die a monster.
Did you know that in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, the guy that gets beat up in the alley that Peter walked away from was originally supposed to be the man who showed Jameson the discarded Spider-Man suit? The bag the thugs were trying to steal had the suit in it, but it isn't made clear in the film. Did you know when Norman Osborn was asked to resign from his own company, he quickly flies through the 5 stages of grief?
The board expects your resignation in 30 days.
Denial.
But you can't do this to me. I started this company.
Anger.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Bargaining.
Oh, Max, please.
Norman, the board is unanimous. Well, I'm sorry.
Depression.
You're out, Norman.
And acceptance.
Am I?
Did you know one of the best things about Spider-Man 3 is that Sam Raimi incorporates little Easter eggs from the previous films? For example, if you take a look at the pictures on Peter's desk, you would be able to spot 2 pictures of Mary Jane. Both pictures very recognizable, as these are stills Peter took when visiting the laboratory in the first film.
Oh, crap.
Did you know that Sam Raimi received a lot of backlash for his decision in making Peter Parker's spider web a natural fluid thingy that came out of his body? However, in his defense, Raimi stated, he sticks to walls, he can leap. Why does he then have to invent a web fluid? Why not just mutate him far enough into a spider to produce webbing?
Think it'll ruin my career as a swimsuit model?
Did you know that the 4th installment of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man franchise was actually a quarter way through filming before it was cancelled? This was devastating to both Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, and the footage of this 4th installment was never released to the public, and still has not to this day.
Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying? Are you crying?
Did you know Sam Raimi confirmed that he adapted the scene in Spider-Man 3 where Peter is ripping the symbiote from his body in the church directly from the source material? The scene in the movie is pretty much identical to the scene in the comic Web of Spider-Man Volume 1 Issue 1. Speaking of the source material, the scene in Spider-Man 2 where Peter throws his suit in the trash and walks away is taken directly from the comics. It really shows that Sam Raimi is a big Spider-Man fan.
#1 fan. I'm your #1 fan.
Did you know that in Spider-Man 3, if you look in the background of Connor's laboratory, you will see a reptile skeleton, which is a strong reference to Connor's alter ego and the Spidey supervillain, the Lizard, who featured in the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. Did you know Tobey Maguire was Sam Raimi's first choice for the web shooting superhero, but it took a lot of convincing for the studio to be on board. They knew he could act, but wanted to see how Tobey could perform as an action star. Tobey therefore filmed a short action sequence and made sure to keep his top off to accentuate the work he had been putting in for this role. After studios reviewed this footage, Tobey was offered the job instantly.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Now that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of the next time we upload. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode, and good night.